So the big news this week is that Nigel McGuinness is leaving Ring of Honor. Let's talk about that. Okay, so yesterday, Thursday, we find out that WWE is launching WWE UK. They're having a 2-night tournament in January. Not 6 months down the road, not 8 months, 10 months. In January. Next month. 2-night, 16-man tournament between 16 British, Irish, Scottish, I don't know where, but from the United Kingdom wrestlers to find out who's the best. They're getting a new belt. Looks awesome. Already 20 or 30 of them on WWE 2K17. One of them's mine. Look for that one. But 16 of the best British wrestlers from all kinds of, from WCPW, from ICW, from all these different British organizations, all of them working together, Progress Wrestling in there, there's a bunch, and they're going to have a tournament, and then down the line, probably not so far down the line, they are going to run a weekly show out of the UK. And at least for the tournament, if not for the UK show, Michael Cole and Nigel McGuinness are going to be doing the play-by-play. So that is apparently why Nigel McGuinness left Ring of Honor. Weird. I'm assuming that the show, when it finally does launch, is going to be taped like a few weeks at a time, because otherwise I don't know how they're going to end up being able to do a weekly live show. They never said live. That's why I'm assuming it's going to be taped a few weeks at a time. I don't know if this also says that they're going to launch a performance center over there and run it like NXT, because that might be a little bit dangerous to the whole UK indie scene if that's going to be like a developmental league and all these guys that are going to go through that are going to get funneled into the main WWE. I don't know why else they would be doing this if it's just going to be a little indie league and these guys aren't going to be moving over. I mean, it seems like a talent search sort of thing to me, but we'll see. I could be wrong. I would love it if they're not locking down people, they're not trying to monopolize the global wrestling scene. If this is what they're saying it is and nothing more, great. That's awesome. I will love to watch this. It's going to be great. Some great talent. Joseph Connors, Pete Dunne. A lot of guys I'm not that familiar with, but I'm going to get familiar with, because the European wrestling scene has been crazy lately. A lot of people coming over there. Some of these guys you may not even know the name, but if you watch enough independent wrestling, guys like Pete Dunne will show up. He was at Bola. He's pretty well known. Joseph Connors was the WCPW champion until recently. So, some big names there. Also this week, the New Day made history when they broke Demolition's record for the longest reigning tag team champions in WWE history. So, maybe we'll see them lose the titles soon. Maybe. Now, they had 2 triple threat matches on Raw. The first one was against Sheamus and the Club, and they came out on top. And then they had to wrestle again because Stephanie McMahon apparently has never been to a locker room celebration and was surprised that she got wet with champagne. So made them do another match against Jericho and the reunited 2/3 of the Shield that were tag team champions when the Shield was a thing. And that was a really good match because it told not only the story of Jericho versus the Shield, but it also let the New Day get a victory over 2 really good teams, look good while those guys were all telling their story. It worked out well. It went on to push that these guys were back on the same page with Rollins and Reigns. And then the next night at Tribute to the Troops, well actually 2 nights later, it was filmed the next night, the whole Shield standing together with the whole club standing together and the New Day having, the 3 biggest 3-man teams of this decade all in one shot was pretty cool. But yeah, the New Day are finally record breakers, record holders, so be interesting to see where that goes. We also have, last night, we had total Nonstop Deletion, and it was batshit insane, as we all knew it would be. King Maxwell had his debut going, actually, his second match. He's now 2-0 because he beat Disco Inferno already. Now he's beaten Rockstar Spud. Then we had Apocalypto after some other stuff went on. Sienna. Before Apocalypto, Sienna challenged anybody to a #1 contenders match. And we almost had Vanguard 1 in a match, but it was ruled that as a non-human, Vanguard 1, who is a knockout, is a woman. I don't know. I don't want to assign a gender to Vanguard 1, but she did try to compete in a women's match, so maybe we call her by female pronouns. She tried to compete, but was not ruled human to compete, so that didn't work out. But she did try to operate as the referee, but the count was interrupted by the actual referee, and then Sienna went on to win her match against ODB. Had a couple more matches. The crowd was just 50 plants from the area, all in one corner, so that it looked like a crowd, but it wasn't, which probably was for the best, because they mostly used that one shot. They also obviously had to do a few cuts and separate takes because of different things, like Itchweed using the weed whacker. So you have to have people that are always going to give you the reaction you want. So that's why they went with all plants. But it worked out. You had an active volcano for the Apocalypto match. You had construction buckets in there. Ricky Morton is still in the construction bucket, may never come down. Road Warrior Animal was there, didn't seem to be too bothered by it, him being up there. But yeah, eventually the Hardys cemented their status as the greatest tag team of time and space by having a volcano spit out Rockstar Spud. That's how that match was won. A volcano. I was going to check in with Beer Generico because we have a pay-per-view coming up this week, Rockin' the Red, but it's not yet Christmas, so we can't do a Christmas brew. This is all Beer Generico's words. And there's nothing that really goes with a Roadblock. You don't want a beer that just makes you stop. So we're skipping Beer Generico this week. Maybe next week for our Christmas show. But we do got to get to some predictions. We've got Cass versus Rusev in the kickoff show. I honestly don't think Cass is going to win. I know that it looked like they were high on him when they were first doing the Universal Championship matches and they put him in that tournament. But I can't see him getting a clean win over Rusev, especially when the feud is more Rusev versus Enzo than it is Rusev versus Cass. I think Rusev hurts Cass. I don't even think this one's close. I think Rusev just destroys Cass, and Enzo is going to have to get revenge for Cass. And that's the match that's going to be a little bit closer. And not even that first match. The rematch is the one that's going to be closer. So yeah, I see Rusev going over on this one. We've got the New Day versus Cesaro. I don't know why Cesaro ended up getting the match over the club. I would have loved to have seen Gallows and Anderson in this one. I don't think the New Day dropped the belts yet. But I also don't think Cesaro are supposed to be in the running for another title shot if they don't win it this time. So it's interesting. I know that they're trying to re-energize Sheamus and Cesaro now that they had their barroom brawl and bonded over that. They're supposed to be more of a functional tag team than the dysfunctional team they were originally. But I think they win it later. I don't think they win it this Sunday. We've got Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman in a 10-minute challenge. So this isn't even to see if Sami can win. We're not even supposed to believe that Sami can win. We're only supposed to believe that he can last 10 minutes without getting pinned or made to submit. I don't think he does it. I think he makes it close. I think he makes it like 9:50 or so and it gets called on a TKO. I don't think that he actually loses cleanly. I think as a referee, somehow it's taken from him by the referee or by Mick Foley, but it's before they get to 10 minutes. So that he can claim that he was going. He would have made it 10 minutes, but it was taken away from him. You've got the Cruiserweight Championship match between Rich Swann, TJ Perkins, and Brian Kendrick. I think Swann wins it. I think that they want to keep the belt on him for now. I don't know who they're going to put against him after this, because this is going to take Kendrick out of the running. It's going to take TJ Perkins out of the running. And it looks like their next strongest heel, Arya Daivari, is going into something with Gallagher. So I don't know who they're going to put against Swann, but I don't think that they put the belt on him just to take it back off immediately. So this is probably where he's going to cement his reign, and we'll see where it goes from there. We've got Rollins versus Jericho. I kind of thought this was going to be for the U.S. title. I thought Jericho might have been able to take the belt off of Reigns. I was wrong, but I do think that Jericho is going to get the win. It's going to be dirty, and it's going to set up the rematch, because these two are going to probably fight again at the Royal Rumble, and that is probably when we're going to see Triple H come back. If not in a one-on-one match, then at the Rumble itself, these two are going to go at it again, and Triple H is going to be there, and that's where they're going to start the real build to Triple H versus Rollins at WrestleMania. But I think going into the Rumble, you need to have a reason for this rematch, and it doesn't happen if Rollins wins. Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Flair, 30-minute Iron Man match. Charlotte is still undefeated at pay-per-views. I don't know if they're going to keep it going that way. It's at this point, it's just so hard to guess where they're going with this, because they only seem to be concerned with these two. They said no rematch, so apparently this is going to be the end of the feud between them. And really, to figure out where they're going, you have to try and figure out what comes next. Now with Sasha, you don't have a strong heel challenger. They can bring up Nia Jax at any point, but she's kind of been off to the side for the past few weeks. You got Emelina debuting. She can easily be a heel. But unless they're going to turn Sasha heel, you don't really want to go there with Bayley. And nobody else is really built up to that point where they're a threat. Now with Charlotte, if she wins, you've got Bayley right there ready to go. Boom. So I think that's a little bit stronger. I think you give Charlotte the belt. It'll be her fourth reign. People don't want to see the belt change hands again, but that doesn't mean they're not going to do it. I think they're going to give Charlotte the belt back. She's going to defend against Bayley, and Emmeline is probably going to go against Sasha as her debut feud. Then final match, you've got Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. Owens, I can't see him losing. Not in the first match against Roman. I think you've got to have him win. It's going to be dirty as hell. He might even lose, but by DQ or countout. More likely DQ if that's how they do it. But Kevin Owens walks away with the belt at the end of the night. I cannot see them putting both belts on Roman after having bumped him down to the U.S. title. I don't think they're that desperate. I think that they've got to see that they've got other people ready to come up to be the next big challenger. But they need to work on building them up a little bit. And I don't think putting the belt on Roman does anything for that. Especially with the Royal Rumble coming up. They can make anybody a star in that match. But I think Roman might get the rematch at Royal Rumble. I'm hoping he doesn't. I hope that he's just in the Rumble. But who knows. But I do see Kevin Owens walking out of Roadblock with the belt. Alright, everybody. Thank you for watching. As always, I am the Tramp. I'm going to pop a code down there for Audible. It's a link. You go there, you'll get a free trial, you'll get 2 free audiobooks. Check it out. They've got a lot of wrestling related stuff. If you don't want a wrestling related book, look for something else. It's a code it'll help me out if you use it. We're not sponsored this episode, otherwise I would have put it up right up front, but it's a code that could be helpful to you. In the meantime, hit like if you like this. I'm going to toss up some videos here, and a subscribe thing right about here. Hit those. Let me know what you like me doing. Hit a comment. Anything. Check us out at the Reddit Country Club. In the description below, we'll have the link for the Too Late to Sleep discussion. Thank you. As always, I'm the Tramp. Cheers.